The TJ hooker is a good stonefly imitation. It can also imitate a sculpin. We're going to tie this. We tie this in the orange and black or the yellow and black. You can get that variegated too. We're going to be tying it on a fire hole 523 in size 10. You can go up to size 8, maybe even 6, depending on what you're really going to be fishing for. So this is a very simple, easy pattern to tie. We're tying it on this jig hook, so we have to put a slotted bead on there. I'm using a tungsten bead. If you're not using tungsten bead, you're going to want to add some weight to this fly. I'm going to be using black thread for this. This happens to be Vivus thread. We're going to tie in right at the eye, or the bead, right behind the bead. Now we want to build a little bit of a dam here so that this bead doesn't come off. And when we build this dam, we're doing most of the wraps by the bead, but then we go down this the hook shank and that, just to kind of smooth out the angle going up into the bead. Once the bead's really secure like that, then we're going to take our thread all the way back to the back of the hook. Alright, now we're going to use some variegated marabou. This is blood marabou, or it's called blood quill marabou. This is the burnt orange and I guess olive. The black strips are olive. In order to really work with marabou, I always like to wet it a little bit because it just does that, and that all gets in our way. So if you just take your fingers and lick them and then run it over it, kind of just smooths it out enough for you to work with it. So we're going to make this tail about the length of the shank. So if we measure that, it's about right there. So we're going to tie it in right at that point. A loose wrap and then just tighten it a couple wraps. I like to go one in front and then come back in the back. Now at this point, if you had put lead here, you want to just cut it right at the end of the lead to fill in, but we didn't, so we're going to try to cut it pretty close to the where the bead is, but on an angle, if you can see that. And what that'll do is that'll work with the taper as we build it in. Now to cover this, I'm going to just wet this part again and kind of get it all calmed down because it's going to be wild. And we're just going to sit here and just cover this up all the way up to the hook, or to the bead. What I'm doing is actually just using my fingers to push it down. That way I know as I move my fingers forward, I'm capturing most of it. I'm going to just kind of hard wrap it back. Okay, once we get to the back of the fly, we're going to use some chenille that's variegated as well. What we're going to do with that is we just peel off the back, the end of it. If you just pinch it and pull, you'll get the end to look like that. What we want to do here is tie this in right here at the back of the fly. Ooh, that was not good. So that happens from time to time where the thread will break. So what I always do is I grab the thread with my hackle pliers, and that'll just kind of keep it tight for a minute. And I re-thread, of course, and I come in here. I'm going to tie it in right at the eye. In this case, you tie it in wherever there's an opening to tie it in. I'm just trying to build this body back up. Once you get back here, you want to take a wrap in front, a wrap behind, a wrap in behind, a wrap in front, a wrap behind. And what we're going to do is we're going to actually cut the extra one off like that. And now we're ready to continue where we were. my thread must have hit the point of the hook there. So now we're going to continue on. We're going to tie this in right here at the bend of the hook. Once it's tied in, move your thread to the middle of the shank, and we're going to tie in 2 legs, one on each side. These are going to be the variegated centipede legs, in orange and black in this case. You can get them in yellow and black. We're going to tie one in on this side. Don't worry about where it's positioned, because you can always manipulate them around to where you want them to be. And the second one is on the other side. Alright, pull them tight. Pull the front legs out of the way. And just wrap all the way to the eye of the hook, or the bead in this case. Now we're going to wrap the chenille. So we pull the back legs up. We're going to just start wrapping. I'm going to wrap this all the way up to those legs. So now we've just got to the legs. Now we're going to go in between the legs, like that. Now we're going to come on the front of those legs and get it wrapped right up to the bead, and we're going to tie it off at the bead. Now if you're, whatever color your stoneflies appear to be is what you can really tie this in. Now time to put a few extra wraps on that, and then we're going to whip finish. Okay, we're going to cut these legs to size. We want them to be about the length of the whole length of the body of the fly. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Grab both legs. If you grab them both at the same time and cut them, you know that they're even. So this one just seems a little long. Cut down the size. All right, and that is a TJ hooker.